The forced pause the pandemic brought last year has given us a lot of time to think about the time we have. With working from days on end and optimizing every single activity to either being monetized or publicized on social media, which are often glorified, what does it mean to hold spaces for ourselves? And how does this practice of slowing down actually benefit us as people? Hi everyone, I am Bianca Pabotoy and welcome to our Peaceful Classroom.
Welcome to our sacred space.
Our peaceful
Classroom. Our Peaceful Classroom is a dedicated space where parents, educators, and other professionals come together to talk about how to promote positivity and peace within ourselves, our families, and communities. Today's episode features the joys and experiences of theater in the Philippines and how this art form allows for more than just storytelling, but also deep self-reflection. We are joined by an alumna from Miriam College who is a professional theater actress and is also a theater professor at MC.
Wala na tayong pag-asa. Kamusta ako? Naibsan. Naibsan kahit papano. Nagkukwento ko na. Unlike before, mga first or second year, hindi ko alam. Feeling ko wala na akong pakiramdam. Feeling ko nag-fail ako sa breadwinner. Nag-fail ako sa breadwinner kasi hindi ko napagamot yung kapatid ko. Alam ko may death threat na siya nun eh. Sabi sa akin ng co-teacher ko, "She, yung kapatid mo nasa watchlist." Hindi ko alam kung totoo.
Ikaw lamang ang aking laging binabalikan.
Today, we will be discussing how our guest has been using art to build kind and peaceful individuals. My guest who's already in this call is someone close to me. She was my theater teacher in Miriam College, but even after that semester, I have always felt that I remain close to her through my best friends in college who are under her wing through the Teatro Colegio ng Miriam. So before we start, it's only right for me to formally introduce her. O, di ba, bongga, miss? Opaline Santos is an actor, teacher, and an energy worker. As an actor, she did productions with the Tanghalang Pilipino, Philippine Educational Theater Association, or PETA, Dulaang UP, Tanghalang Ateneo, Shaharazade, tama, miss?
Shaharazade.
Maisog Performance Group, Project Mayhem, Icarus, and Romancing Venus. She also appeared in films screened at the Cinemalaya, Cinema One, and Q Cinema festivals. She received recognition through nominations as Best Actress in the 35th Gawad Urian Award for her performance in the film The Natural Phenomenon of Madness, and in the 2015 Aliw Awards for Best Duo Performance, Black Canvas's Chemistry. She is an attuned Usui Reiki Level 2 practitioner and incorporates this practice in all her energy work, which we'll be hearing about today. And she created the Energy Sessions, a wellness session that explores practical tools for our well-being that are meditative, introspective, restorative, and allow us to be in touch with our body, mind, and spirit. She's now teaching theater arts in Miriam College under the Bachelor of Arts under the Communication Department. And she also taught in Bulacan State University and the One School in Makati. So Miss Opa is also a communications alumna of Miriam College. So MC Pride. Hi, Miss.
Hello,
How are you?
magandang araw.
How are you feeling?
Doing great. Maaliwalas, magaan.
So excited. Looking forward po to hear about your work, and thank you so much for giving us the space and time. Hopefully the viewers would get a lot and enjoy this episode. So let's start. I will ask the first question. So what was it like transitioning from a Miriam College student to doing professional theater work, going back to MC and teaching, and now practicing Reiki? Maybe you can tell us more about that and experience.
Okay. Ano ba? From being a student, okay, it's giving back actually. Kasi Miriam din naman, of course, played a big part of honing who I am, and especially in finding my career path actually, because that is where I discovered Teatro Colegio ng Miriam as the official theater organization, and then there I realized and I decided that this is the path that I want to pursue, to be a professional in this field. And actually being a communication major also allowed that opportunity for me to see different types of media, art forms, expressions, and then I got to choose. And I realized that theater has it all. So, and then actually teaching back in Miriam is a pleasant surprise, it was a pleasant surprise because I was invited by my former theater teacher in Miriam, which is Taksuro Takyo, to teach. And when I was young, I dreamt to be a teacher, and it's also a bonus that I get to teach something that I really love, which is theater. So kumbaga things aligned, fell into place, and I felt that a safe space for me to start teaching is in Miriam, because Miriam is actually a safe space for me to grow, or diba I mentioned that it honed me as in terms of a lot of things, and most especially my career path. So beginning there, teaching there, created, kumbaga kasi things that you're starting, nag-umpisa ka pa lang, parang nangangapa ka pa eh. So yung Miriam, training ground siya, and at the same time, nurturing yung energy kasi ng Miriam. Kaya, all the support that I need, all the skills, techniques that I need to equip me as a teacher, nakuha ko rin sa Miriam nung bumalik ako, nung umuwi ako pabalik sa Miriam. Kaya, of course, that empowered me and allowed me that confidence to be able to explore other spaces in terms of teaching. And of course, it's always nakakataba ng puso na mag-give back dun sa alam mong nagbigay din sa'yo. Yun siya. Pag-uwi siya.
I love it. Right. So ngayon, Miss, what are you busy with? Can you share about the energy session? Because I think I attended one and it was so nice. Parang very much needed in this lockdown. So maybe you can share what it's about and how it started it.
I actually do away with the term busy, meaning as much as possible, parang gauge ko yung, oh my God, busy na ako. So I begin to pause It's a long history kung bakit parang pag busy na ako, teka, I need to pause, ganyan. But actually, bukod dun sa, of course, I hold spaces for people, I actually have more time being at home because we're all in quarantine right now and learning a lot about homemaking and things about the kitchen. Because yeah, gusto ko lang din i-share kasi yun talaga halos yung kumakain ng oras ko. We are sharing our my mom is making lumpiang ubod, and it's not a business, for fun lang namin ginagawa. Tapos I learned a lot from my mom in terms of how she manages the kitchen, and it's a big thing for me because I realized sa buong talambuhay ko, I'm a career woman. Lagi ako nasa labas. And now we're forced to be at home. Pero ang dami rin palang pwedeng matutunan sa bahay. Tulad ng maraming skills and practices and wisdom na natututunan ko sa nanay ko na napakahalaga. And then, I am also making kombucha. Okay, so kombucha is our probiotic drink. That's really good for our gut, our digestive system. It's a fermentation process and it teaches me a lot about patience, about waiting, ganon. Lahat ng mga natututunan sa kusina ay malaking bagay sa life skill natin. That is also aligned to what I share in my holding spaces because I think the wisdom that you can pass on, the learning that you can pass on in when you are facilitating or teaching anything is when you experience it in yourself. When you experience it yourself, when you practice it, when you live it. So yes, I regularly hold spaces, which I call the energy. Ang promise ko or commitment ko sa sarili ko is to hold it every month. Pero, nag-iiba kasi siya ng form, nag-iiba siya ng design. Pero kasi yung energy, pre-pandemic, it's existing already because I created it in 2019. Nung una, we have that luxury to be, first day will be indoor, and second day is outdoor, like be in nature, be one with nature. 2 days talaga siya, so it's like a weekend retreat. And then, okay, pandemic happened. So I had to learn how to transition it online. Nagawa ko naman, pero I think yung na-experience mo, hindi pa yun yung weekend energy, di ba? So there's a longer version that's 4 hours per day, so that a total of 8 hours. Weekend talaga siya, and holistic siya, of course. It will tap into your mind, body, and spirit. And nakaka-create din siya na i-journey mo siya sa weekend na yon. And then, I hold spaces din kasi by gut. I don't want to hold spaces when I'm empty, when I'm not. Of course, we have days that we're off center. We don't feel like doing anything. So, my announcements sometimes are medyo hindi yung parang scheduled na talaga. That's how I work right now. Ayoko nang parang, ito yung fixed schedule na every month tuwing 15th of the month. It's not that. I feel it. I feel it when I am capable of holding space for other people. I don't want it to be mechanical kasi. So this year, I realized na kaya ko siyang to make it available na shorter kasi hindi lahat ng tao could make time dun sa weekend na minsan kasi parang akala nila it will take a lot of time from them, but actually it's giving time for yourself. Pero hindi ko naman yun pwede ipilit, diba? So kinreate ko yung moon sessions, so I make it available every new moon or full moon, pero hindi rin every month. Kaya ko rin din feel. Pero, it's available. It's available. And again, I'm holding spaces as long as meron akong maibigay every month, whether that's an energy weekend retreat, whether that's moon meditation, Or sometimes, meron din akong hinuhold na intimate spaces like for 3 people lang na in person, which I really miss. Mostly mga for friends lang. Solve na ako doon. Alam ko na nabibigyan ko ng panahon yung, I call it vocation right now. Vocation to in service of my, I think, sole purpose. Yun. Sorry, haba ng chika.
Oh, nice.
Nanggaling
Um,
lumpia. Charing, go.
Why do you think it's so important for us to hold spaces for ourselves, Miss? What does it give us, siguro? Maybe for people who have a hard time understanding this. Parang why?
Mhm. It's really important to hold space for yourself first. Again, you cannot give like from an empty cup. You have to nourish yourself first. At naniniwala ko na lahat ng tao kapag ginawa yon, na nag-attend muna siya sa sarili niya, minahal niya muna yung sarili niya, ilalagaan niya muna yung sarili niya, it would create ripple. So imagine a lot of people doing that for themselves. Taking good care of yourself would really allow yourself to reflect more, to do the inner work, to understand yourself better, to really caring for yourself is making yourself healthy as well, attend to your whole being. And that would lead to your authenticity, and being honest with yourself. So, kung lahat gagawa nun, I think it will be a better world. Kasi naiintindihan natin yung sarili natin at ginagawa natin yung we resolve our trauma, we face our shadows. Yun. Nasabi ko na ending message ko. Okay.
I think it's great. Lalo na kasi this lockdown has really offered a lot of time for people to slow down and reflect. For me, it was such a good reminder of exactly what you said, how much we need each other and how much we need to slow down and listen to ourselves, because in the speed of living our life, we usually forget this. And so we're going through this collective struggle in this pandemic, both personal and in the environment outside. And what's interesting is a lot of people find solace through art. Parang a lot of coping mechanisms, even for me, is for expressing these like pent up emotions, like through my hair, it's very colorful now, or a lot of like music. A lot of musicians have been making music. A lot of people have been going back to journaling, writing, even painting. So, parang to me, Miss, it really reminded me of like common humanity. Art reminded me of this. And as you are like a professional theater actor, I just wanted to know, like, is it normal to find this kind of like peace when you're doing art? And also, how does like creativity connect people and remind each other that, hey, we're not just alone here. We have someone else we can connect with on like this kind of way, not just talking, but by creating.
Yes, because creativity or making art is a language of our soul. So that for me, that's how I define it. At lahat tayo, it's our birthright. It is our pag yung natural essence natin is to express creatively. We have different kinds of creative expressions, and I think hindi natin and we when we are tapped into our creative expression, we are so aligned to our highest self or our divinity. That's how I want to call it. Feeling ko rin na kapag naka-align tayo dun sa creativity na yon, at hindi lang yon natatapos sa sining ng parang kumbaga yung traditional art forms, kasi nga sabi mo may sining sa pagkulay ng buhok, may sining sa pagbabalot ng lumpia, may sining sa pagtitimpla ng mga inumin, and there's pleasure in there. So paano ba, nasa ano siya nasa, isa siya sa mga kailangan natin para, kung kailangan ng katawan ng pagkain, kailangan ng soul ng singing. We need that fuel to propel us into moving forward with our lives, into thriving. So yon, bukod sa pagkain, kailangan natin ng pagkain para sa kaluluwa natin. So, na minsan nakakalimutan natin, pero importante siya. Kasi baka mamaya, kailangan mo lang palang pakainin yung kaluluwa mo para makahakbang ka, maka-move ka, para ma-inspire ka to actually to go back to your center. Yon. Pero right now, I'm thinking about paano pag kumakalamang sigmura mo? Kailangan ng pagkain. Hindi, ano siya, food for the body, food for the soul. It should go hand in hand. So, nasagot ko ba yung tanong? Yeah, sorry. Yun, kasi you're talking about being humanity or being human. So, feeling ko isa sa mga purpose natin sa pagiging tao ay to creatively express. Yun. Everybody could relate to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I know na-mention mo siya before just a while ago, Miss. So again, I just wanted to ask about your other career. So, yun nga, art has so many forms. Pero what drew you to theater talaga? And like, may parang eureka moment ba na parang, oh my gosh, ito yung gusto kong gawin na for life. And parang, yeah, just share like about that experience kasi it's not every day we get to meet someone who does, you know, theater arts. For me, I'm really amazed kung nami-meet ko kayo kasi parang ang galing, parang ang saya. Pero ang ano din, Misa, sobrang kabang-kaba kasi you like, my experience of theater, parang, oh my God, sobrang stress sa likod. Kasi parang, dapat hindi ko kamali, ganun. Pero yun, Miss, yeah, we want to know.
Naniniwala ko na yung chosen profession natin somehow or siguro totoo sa akin ay yung laro ko nung bata. What I enjoy doing when I was young. And ano yun, playing. Playing. Of course, we're all playing when we were young. Pero ako, I role play. Tapos, I love performing on my own, ganyan. Very closet na parang, kasi I think there's a time na mag-isa lang ako bilang panganay. Tapos, in my me time, I perform. Not necessarily with an audience. Then, ano yun, hobby yun. So, there's fun in that. And then, as I grew older, hindi ko naman alam. I'm of course, lahat tayo na-expose sa TV, ganyan. So, yun lang yung alam ko na TV, pelikula na pag-arte. And in Miriam, actually, well, I saw a performance in Little Theater, a theater performance from TKM, Teatro Colegio ng Miriam. And I was mesmerized, and I was in college na. Sabi ko, oh my God, may ganun pala. Hindi ko alam, late na rin ako sa theater, na-expose sa theater. And then, and then, alam mo yun, yung parang kumonek siya sa'yo, tapos parang na-affirm niya yung ganitong klaseng platform na pwede pala to. And I said to myself, I want to be there. I want to be on that stage. I want to perform. I want to express myself on that stage. And tapos parang ang taas niyang singing, ang taas niya. Hindi siya entertainment. May kinukwento, may gusto sabihin, may mensahe. Then, third year na ako noon. I think at that time, TKM, hindi sila open for new members. And then I think I was first year or second year then. Then third year, biglang nagkaroon ng opening. And then I tried. Tapos nagsusulat pa ako ng mga monologues noon. Kasi mahilig din ako magsulat. Tapos yun yung naging audition ko. And then, nakapasa ako. Tapos, I remember, first General Assembly. Tapos, grabe yung mga tao. Ang warm nila, ang bukas nila, ang pleasant nila. Basta may bukas na bukas. Tapos, ang sabi ko sa kanila, it felt like home. But yun talaga, theater is home. But although nasabi ko rin yun kanina sa Mir, but yun yung para akong sumwak sa container. So, parang ganun. Para akong sumwak sa hulmahan ko. Ganun yung pakiramdam. Masaya, bukas, panatag, at alam ko na pwede akong maging ako dun sa espasyo na yun. And then I realized also that in theater, whatever it is, kung anong trip mo, whatever it is that you are expressing as an artist, ano yung kinahiligan mo, whether that's right brain or left brain, logic or creative, meron kang puwang. You have all the tasks that you think you want to do. Meron kang tasks sa theater. Dahil it's a slice of life. On stage and backstage, may papakinabangan ka. Sa kahit anong kaya mong gawin, may gagawin ka sa teatro. Iyon.
Sobrang yung mga thesis mates ko kasi theater lang sila lahat. So parang ako yung ulirang audience. Love. Masaya naman.
And even as an audience, 'di ba? Pag nakakakita ka ng live theater performance, grabe yung parang dialogue, yung shared na moment. Kasi nga, live siya. Happening right there in front of you.
And on the slices of life, of course, may mga challenges din yung life. I was just wondering, Miss, parang, did you ever have like a most shocking experience in theater na parang na-disrupt talaga yung parang inner peace mo? Maybe you can walk us through that experience. How did you react? How did you manage the situation? And how did you handle your own emotions?
A lot. Ang dami. And it was traumatic. Actually, yun yung hinihil ko. Kasi dati, meron akong parang connotation na pag hindi ako naghirap for a certain role, when I'm creating it or preparing for it, hindi ako magiging magaling. And I also experienced teachers that are terror. Although I know that yung ibang mga kwento, mas malala pa sa akin, pero parang they're shaming, even physical abuse, pero hindi naman ako parang and verbal abuse. At rampant siya sa ibang mga theater spaces. Terrorizing, theater of parang the terror culture. And ang hirap sa actor because ang tool ng isang aktor ay ang buo niyang pagkatao, ang buo niyang psyche. So I got to a point wherein when I'm studying a character, inexperience ko siya, I live it, which is not healthy. Because there's a thin line between the sanity at pagiging insane. At being lang actor, if you are a healthy and responsible actor, you have to take good care of your tools. And your tools is your body, your mind, your soul. So when you are suffering or making yourself suffer just for the sake of feeling mo kapag nag-suffer ka, it will also, kumbaga yung magiging output mo ay maganda kasi nga naghirap ka, it is violating yourself. So I realized sa ganung mga proseso ko, it's really violating the self. Because I'm punishing myself. So it was a recurring pattern for me whenever I prepare for a role. Kaya sinasabi ko parati na bakit parang laging roller coaster yung mga preparations ko sa production. Grabing vulnerability, yung tinatahak ko, grabing pag-purge ng emotions. Tapos pagod din yung katawan ko kasi mentally I'm tortured, psychologically I'm tortured, emotionally pagod ako, physically drained. And yun, as in yung buong ako, tapos wala nang space for that. So that led to burnout. na parang, shit, ba't ko ba to ginagawa? Ba't ko ba ginagawa to sa sarili ko? Pero pag naisip ako nun, anong gagawin ko? Because I really just want to be an actor. I mean, I'm not just an actor in the theater. I also do backstage. Pero grabe yung passion ko for acting.
My next question just ties into that. So, maybe what are some like peaceful regimens or habits you started to develop after going through that burnout? Siguro steps our listeners could try again because the conversations about practicing peace in our daily life. So maybe you can share, yeah, your own parang mga ginagawa mo. Baka ano namin, ma-mirror mo.
Okay, gusto ko lang, sorry, ibalik at ikwento kasi, di ba nga, I think it's important to share na when acting kasi, di ba you portray characters and minsan, if you are so lost into portraying the character, hindi mo na matukoy yung sarili mong identity. Kasi, it also came to that, no, na I'm also experimenting in my real life. Kasi I think I needed for a character study, which is, kailangan mo rin maging responsible and maging aware. Actually, awareness lang siya na, oops, ito ay para sa character, ito ay para kay Opaline. And learn how to detach and really after every rehearsal. So I started professionally acting in 2009. Yung shift na nangyari and decision na, oops, ayoko na ng ganitong klaseng pattern. I think the transition happened in 2016. 2016, when I also decided, nag-pause talaga ako, nag-detach ako sa lahat ng theater making, sa lahat ng acting gig. Although I was still teaching theater then, pero I think summer nangyari yun eh. Parang end of, so hindi rin ako nagtuturo pa noon. I mean, nagkaroon ng break. So that was opportunity for me to ponder on it, to think about it. Na-realize ko na importante yung spaces talaga to just keep quiet. And when you're talking about peace, is to really give that to yourself, to be quiet. Kasi hindi ko alam nun, sa dami ng roles na pinoportray ko, sa dami ng productions na ginagawa ko, ang daming ingay. At external siya lahat. Ingay sa play, sa story na ginagawa ko, sa characters na ginagawa ko, ingay mula sa mga kasama ko sa production, sa mga dictates ng directors, co-actors, artistic, whatever, sa audience, whenever you feel like you need feedback from the audience, lahat yun clutter. Hindi mo na marinig yung sarili mong boses. Ano ka, sino ka talaga, apart from the characters that you portray. So those are questions that I faced nung nag-decide ako to pause, to give that break for myself. And then I also decided to go deeper into spirituality, which helped me to find out about creative recovery. So in 2016, naging regular na ako into meditation and mindfulness practice. And then, doon ko rin na-realize that I really love theater because bumalik ako at na-refresh ako at alam kong mahal ko talaga siya. Kailangan ko lang magpahinga. Bumalik ako and apparently ngayon, teatro pa rin. Hello. And I know that I'm still passionate about theater. Pero I know that nagkaroon ng rebirth kasi iba na talaga yung pagtingin ko, iba na yung proseso ko. And I think yung pinaka parang yung pinaka para siya, ano ba tawag sa ganun? Parang poste. Hindi poste yung term, pero ode to or tribute ko siguro na I am healing myself. I am all for creative recovery. Is when I did a one-woman show called Lunas. So I also encountered and did my work through The Artist Way of Julia Cameron. That helped me a lot. And one of my resources in doing that, in creating the piece, Lunas, it's all about healing the inner child, healing the creative, dealing with creative recovery. So healing the inner child is healing your artistic self. So bukod sa mga meditation practices, ang dami niya ring tool like journaling, artist date, yung tinatawag. You have to feed your artist child. Yon nakatulong sa akin. Tapos, nabuo ko yung Lunas kasi nagkaroon ako ng promise sa sarili ko at panata sa sarili ko na gagawa ako ng pyesa na hindi ko tinotorture yung sarili ko, na instead of pressuring, it's nurturing. So naalala ko dati, I think few days or a day before my show, as in parang nag-spa lang ako, nagpamasahe, ganun. Ayoko nang parang field trip yung feeling ko noon. Hindi yung parang nangangarag pa ako, nagka-cramp pa ako, parang or napaparanoid sa okay kaya to, ganyan. At hindi nape-pressure sa output pero naka-focus lang sa process. Yun. Haba na naman.
Yan ba yung
method acting. Yeah. Sa Stanislavski, may mga ganon. Meron ding being. Kay Eric Morris naman yun. Yun, minsan kasi parang okay naman yung method acting na technique. It's just that pag hindi ka na masyadong aware or parang masyado mo nang nilulubog yung sarili mo, hindi na yun healthy. So, kailangan mong matutunan na umahon o dumetouch. Na you are pinapahiram mo lang yung sarili mo, or you're kind of, di ba parang sa Greek theater, you're wearing a mask. Because you know how to remove the mask after a performance. And you go back to yourself. Yan. Even like in other professions, that is a good wisdom na applicable din siya na sometimes you get eaten by your job na parang you don't know who you are anymore kasi yung alam mo lang how to reply to emails or how to yung nadadala mo sa conversations with friends and family na parang meetings. So ano yung agenda na parang this is just like real life na you don't know how to act in real life because you're just taking on the role of your job so much. So, ayun. Thank you so healthy
much.
Boundaries talaga.
Yeah, that's great. And so now that we're in this like new abnormal, Miss, how do you see like the craft of theater move forward? And siguro following that, like what was one lesson or realization you had from last year na you want to like take it on and baunin mo siya in the coming years?
Mm-hmm. Yung theater, hirap kami sa totoo lang because theater nga eh. Hindi, kasi me personally, theater, there's a space, there's a performer, there's an audience, and it's whenever it is happening, it is right then and there. You share time and space. But I am also telling myself na it is expanding and it is adapting to time. So a lot of people are experimenting in the theater online or virtual theater. So hindi pa talaga yan na-define. That's why we are still discovering it. And for me, go lang, experiment, this is a laboratory. Allow the artists, the theater practitioners to discover what will work. So you have to be also forgiving because we're still testing at mahirap because last year we tried to do the Virgin Love Fest online and ang hirap. Tapos parang risk talaga siya. Because syempre kami yung isa sa mga I think una talagang sumubok na how can you do that performing online with the Philippines Wi-Fi. Tapos syempre hindi lahat nag-succeed, nag-fail, pero dun ka nga rin matututo kasi pinag-aaralan mo pa lang. And ngayon, pinag-aaralan din ng mga theater majors. They are creating somewhat of a manual, still studying it. Pero ako, again, personally, medyo nag-detach ako after that kasi napagod ako, na-exhaust ako. So I focused more on yung energy work and mindfulness practice. But hindi ko siya actively like pinopursue na okay, kailangan magka-create ako as a performer. Parang sabi ko, sige, yung theater career ko, pwede siyang mag-rest and that's okay for now hanggang kaya ko. I focus my attention sa ibang mga what I also love doing, my newfound holding spaces and meditation practices or mindfulness practices. Tapos, may mga singit-singit na invitation like reading ng theater play. Gumagawa naman ako doon sa mga ganong klaseng. Actually, ngayon may nire-rehearse ako. Pero kasi, itong mga nire-rehearse ko, nagawa na namin in 2019. That's why, medyo less pressure because hindi na siya unfamiliar na pyesa. Alam ko na yon by heart. Tapos, actually, if there's anything that I want to explore, I still want to do an in-person theater. And honestly, may resistance pa rin ako sa virtual. Kasi, personally, madali talaga rin akong maubos sa mga, anything that is online. Kaya, pinipace ko siya na hindi parating mag-online. Dati kasi 'di ba, especially last year, parang lahat na lang nasa Zoom. So, as much as possible, hindi naman sa minimize ko or parang yon. So, kasi makakain kasi ng oras kapag kunyari, nag-commit ako sa isang theater production na ang platform ay online. As in, alam ko na everyday rehearsal, everyday nasa Zoom ako. Hindi ako nagko-commit pa sa ganong klaseng babad sa theater making online. If ito plano ko pa lang to do an outdoor kahit one woman muna or one person performance na durational, which actually exists na naman, especially kahit pre-pandemic nung sa ibang bansa na, especially in the other countries, Western countries, in Japan, wherever. Yung di ba minsan may makikita ka na parang performer lang sa park, ganun. Tapos hindi mo siya durational, tawag doon, sa performance art, ginagawa yun. You don't have to catch the whole thing. You're free to come and go. Yun yung, tas ang tawag dun sa visual arts ay site-specific performances. So, odd spaces, outdoor, yun. Pero, andun yung essence ng performer, audience, and space, shared time. Mahalaga para sa akin yun na ma-retain sa ngayon. And then, gusto ko yung pag-aralan. And, actually, marami na naglalaro sa isip ko. Humahanap lang ako ng tamang timing kasi syempre, you have to consider the safety precautions, healthy, yung mga ganon na hindi mo naman tawag dito, you're not putting yourself at risk and other people because still, meron pa rin, nasa pandemya pa rin tayo. So, sorry, in the near future, we are also imagining if we can afford, magastos kasi na mag-lock in, kahit nga sa shooting sa film na magla-lock in ka ng mga tao, mag-shoot kayo, imaginein mo, sagot mo yung accommodation ng lahat ng yan. We're imagining kung maraming pera sa teatro, i-lock in mo lahat ng actors, magpa-perform sila sa stage, tapos di ko alam kung limited lang ba yung audience, tapos lahat yun, of course, nag-swab, nag-whatever, lahat ng mga testing, or magiging available ba, if a-film ba yung theater performance, or magiging available ba siya sa live. So yun yung mga possibilities. Yun. Wala pa talagang, parang, okay, ito na yun. Ito tayo sa theater. Lahat nag-eksperimento pa lang. Yun.
Siguro, Miss, as our last pambao na lang to our listeners or viewers, yun, what do you think is siguro a wisdom na we can take with us from last year going on to the next coming years na, things can go back to normal and maybe holding spaces wouldn't, parang baka makalimutan natin or will be like back to the normal grind of life. Well, what's something now we can constantly remind ourselves to do?
Um, yung pandemya is actually asking us to go back to nature. Kasi imagine a world walang city. Nature lang. Everything is provided for. Our food, our shelter, and all. Because in essence, we kind of severed yung connection natin sa nature. At napaka-importante yun. And when I talk about nature, it's not just the body of water, the earth. It's the nature, meaning our true essence, which is deep down to our soul. Because we are nature, part of it. Grabe yung society, grabe yung clutter na nakatakip sa atin, that we have to deliver, that we have to please in terms of work, even school, the pressure actually of the external. But the question is, what do you really want? When I say, what do you really want? And for me, the point of life is to be happy. What is that one thing that will spark that joy? Wow, parang si Marie Kondo. Hindi, totoo, yung joy. Tanggalin mo lahat ng mga sinasabi ng iba. Tanggalin mo lahat ng pressure ng society. Ano magpapaligaya sa'yo? Ngayon na. And what will excite you? I think that's happiness is gaano man kasimple, kung ano man yan. Kung kapayapaan man yan o pagiging present in everyday life will lead you back to that happiness. I think yun yung kailangan nating balikan at i-check parati. Yun. Yun. Joy and excitement in everything that you do. And ano connection niya sa nature? Nature, when we observe nature, nandun yung wisdom, nandun lahat. Yun.
And I think I'm very grateful that I got to interview you kasi again, going into the next years, parang yun yung sinasabi nila na we can change this new normal to be better, and I guess it's really important now we learn our lessons, whatever we need to learn from the time from last year na kasi we were all forced to slow down so parang it's really great way to make it parang worthwhile kasi sayang naman kung this time wala pa rin tayong nakuhang any lesson from what was happening. Not just like physical sciences, pero also within ourselves din. And yun, that was so great, Miss. If may gusto kang i-promote, ASAP, please.
Oo nga. Sorry. Sorry, gusto ko lang dagdagan yung, because you mentioned about forced to slow down. Yun, nag-surface din sa pandemya yung mga essential talaga. I mean, ano talagang kailangan na simplify talaga niya. Lumutang yung mga, ito lang balikan ako, ito pala mahalaga, relationship, whatever. Singing or something. Pagkain. Yun. Parang, at nag-surface din yung mga kailangan ng buwagin na sistema. Yun, ang daming lumutang na, hindi na yun nag-work, ganyan. So, tanggalin na yan. Abolish. Na joke. Ayun, okay. Ano na lang, paki-trim na lang. Things.
Sir Gilby.
Sige, Vince, paki-trim na lang yung train of thoughts. Okay. Promote. Okay. Well, energy. Actually, kailan ba ito magiging available? Kasi may paparating sa May.
Baka
June.
Oo, baka June. Pero just maybe you can leave the page.
Yes. So just visit energy sessions. Yeah, energy is as in inner, INNER, G as in letter G sessions on Instagram. Okay, that's where I post monthly gatherings. So whether that's a moon session every new moon or full moon or a weekend retreat. So anything, any tool that could help us go back. Actually, it's a self-work. Yeah, it's a very solitary work. It's just that minsan kailangan lang natin ng kasabay para gawin natin yung individual work. So it's a gathering but actually an individual work. Ay, sorry, gusto ko lang i-promote that I also do Reiki. Reiki, well, for now, distance healing. So Reiki is a Japanese technique na energy healing. So it's nakakatulong siya sa stress, nakakatulong siya kapag support also kapag meron kang sakit, not necessarily like parang papagalingin kita, pero it's actually, I'm just guiding you to get in touch with your body so that you will know ano yung kailangan ayusin, pagalingin, or bigyan ng attention. And one-on-one meditation sessions, of course. Yun.
Nice. Thank you so much for, again, the time and the space.
Oh, 1 hour na, pasensya, ang daldal.
Oh, super. I appreciate it so much and I've learned then so much. And I'm sure those who are tuning in or listening, kasi parang podcast na din siya, di ba? Ganun. And have learned a lot, especially I think my key takeaways. So, sobrang facilitator. Key takeaways are really like, revisiting your inner child, listening to yourself din. Kasi again, we get so we get deafened by the external noises na we forget to listen to a very important voice, which is ourselves. And I think that's a very parang kailangan siya for you to know yourself and to build yourself. You have to listen to yourself din, and that's how you also give it to others. Parang yun nga, ang ganda ng ripple effect is, I think we have to do it more and more now kasi nga people need it. So we need each other more and more.
We hope today's episode gives you a good glimpse of a day in the life in the theater world, brought to us by Miss Opa. And of course, the importance of holding sacred spaces for ourselves that actually blossoms and radiates outwards, may it be in the form of creating art, in the form of delivering a performance, or in the form of spreading peace. In 2020, doors to our favorite cinemas, concert domes, and theater stages closed and remain closed to this day. While most professions have by now gained footing at this online work, performers and the live industry continue waiting for their safe return. And so we urge you to support our Filipino artists, may it be in attending online shows, donating to fundraisers, or in any way we can. That's all for today, and this has been your friend, Bianca Pabotoy, and we hope to see you next time, only here in our sacred space, our peaceful classroom.